The following video clip is an interview with Brandon Aleson about his piece, Digit, a collaboration with Jesse Montini-Vose. This piece will be presented this Saturday, September 7th at the Nepo 5K art party.
It's going to be a 5x5 grid of fingers that are vertically mounted, and there are going to be 5 columns basically, and each column is welded metal that Jesse made. And there's one servo motor on the bottom that controls rotation of the whole column on the x-axis, and then there's a servo for each finger that controls motion this way, so they can move 360. And all the servos are controlled by an Arduino with a couple servo shields on it, and the Arduino is talking to the computer through processing, which is reading the Kinect, which is then tracking the person's head who's standing in front of it. And so as you move around, the fingers will follow your head, and the fingers are 3D printed. I have some over there, I'll just show you. And we were talking about dipping them in latex to give them more of a skin feel. I'm not sure if we will yet or not. But yeah, one of the coolest things, just in terms of programming, that we that we developed up to this point is, as you walk, if you're standing far away, they're all kind of pointed at the same angle at your head. But as you walk closer, the ones on the bottom, they need to move more than the ones that are more on the level of your actual head. So the grid itself is set up in processing as each finger is a point. It's a p vector, and then the head itself is a p vector. The data coming from the Kinect. So each one is basically, you subtract the value of the p vector of the head from the value of the fingers, so they're able to displace actually independently, but still all relative to the head.
That's cool.
It is really cool. And then the last component actually would be sound, which it will probably just be a sample. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but it'll be, we were talking about doing the sound like that, the fingers rubbing together, or maybe, some knuckle cracking. Probably just in relation to how close you are, so the Z value of the person. So, maybe farther away, it would play the sample at the same speed, and then it would speed up or something, or pitch shift, or just something. We just have to play around with it.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is. These popsicle sticks are totally pointing at my head.
Let's see. So this is actually set up for 2 columns at the moment, but you just declare each servo, and then with the Arduino it's really easy for the code. So you declare each servo as a motor, and then you just tell it all to 0 out when the sketch starts. And then these are just you attach it to the pins on the Arduino, and then this, let's see, so this one it cycles through. When it gets greater than 5, it starts back at 0, so it's actually sending a signal to them each really fast, and just cycling all the way through. And then these are the 6 that we're just working, so 1 for the bottom, and then 5 for the fingers, and it just sends out what it's reading from processing. And then the processing part of it is a bit more complicated. It's got the Kinect, basically, do all the setup. You enable the Kinect, you start tracking the skeleton, and then you extract the head coordinates, and then the X part of the head is what's controlling the bottom part of the servo, and then these are all the P vectors for the fingers. So F1 would be the top left, and then basically you just declare its position. So the way it sets it up is it's 640 by 480, and so 0, 0 is up there, and then 640 by 480 is down there. So you just declare each one. So this one's 0, 0 at the top, and then it moves down. And And so there'll be a lot more of these when there's 5, obviously. And then just make a new integer and then map it to the value of the servo, which these are somewhat arbitrary because it's 0 to 180, but you know, it obviously doesn't have to go all the way to either end.
Yeah. You don't really want it to.
Yeah, and then this is where it's interfacing with the Arduino, so it's sending out what it's reading out, all these numbers, and it's writing it out through the serial to the Arduino. And that's it. That's all stuff. And this is all the pose detection stuff. So once someone walks in, it recognizes a new user, and if somebody walks out, I think these are called callbacks. So yeah, it'll calibrate the skeleton, and then once it's calibrated, then it'll start running the entire sketch. So this has definitely been developed in collaboration with just a little input from a lot of people who know more than I do. And then there's also a couple books that you can read just on interactivity. There's one called Programming Interactivity that's really long. It's put out by O'Reilly Media. There's another one too called Making Things See, and one's by, I think that's by Greg Borenstein. And that one was helpful because the way that I started was I set up an example from that book that was 2 servos that acted like an arm, so then you could control it. And one of the coolest things is completely by chance, is that, I don't know if you can see it, but the way that the machine slices it into layers to, you know, because it prints in layers, it looks like an actual fingerprint.
Oh, it